Continuing its hot streak here in the Philippines, Tecno Mobile keeps on launching products left and right. One of them is the Spark 7 Pro. Priced at 6,990 pesos, this is the company's more affordable option for those who are looking for a capable smartphone but can spend higher for the likes of the POVA 2 and maybe the CAMON 17P. So we have the device right now. As you can see here, this is the TECNO SPARK 7 Pro. So without any further ado, let's unbox it. Hi, this is Peter of GizGuy.com and this is our TECNO SPARK 7 Pro review. Watch this. For more contents like this, please like and subscribe as well. Unboxing and accessories. The TECNO SPARK 7 Pro arrived in a bright yellow box. This is the first time that we are seeing a Tecno device with this type of box. And personally, this looks neater compared to their older types of boxes. And it has the blueprint of the model name of the device and a small Tecno logo on top. At the back, you will see the highlights of the phone, like the 48 megapixel camera, the Super Night Mode, 90 Hz refresh rate, Helio G80, 5000 mAh battery, and Bluetooth audio share, as well as the rest of the specifications written in a small text underneath. Anyway, let's open it. And the first thing that we will see is the device itself. And as you can see here, it is also showing the highlights of the phone in this print. And I'll be removing it, and you will be greeted by the device itself, and we will be checking this out in a bit. Next is, I noticed that it has another box here on the main package, and it reads Dream. Okay, that's nice. That's interesting. And what's inside that is this. It has this case. It has a TPU translucent case with a Dream text as well. And then you will find this. This is the warranty card. So if you care to read it. Okay, just skip it. Just skip this one. And then it has this leaflet showing that the device has 12 months plus 1 of warranty. Not every smartphone maker has 12 months plus 1 of warranty, and Tecno, that's generous. Last but not least on that small box is this. This is a SIM ejector tool, and you will be using it to open the SIM tray slot of the device. And here it is. I was able to open it. Oh, triple tray slot. That's nice to know. We'll explore this more in a bit, as mentioned earlier. I'll be showing you this. This is what's next. This is 10 watts power brick, 5 volts, 2 amps. And then I also saw this small paper sticker, and this is the IMEI. This is where you will find the IMEI of the phone as well as the storage. So I have the 4 gigs of RAM with 1 to 8 gigs of storage, and the color of my unit is magnet black with the model number KF8. So just keep that if you want to keep it. And then next is, of course, the cable. So this is the charging cable, the data cable, and the first port is a USB-A port. On the other side, you will find a micro USB port. Unfortunately, it is still not using Type-C. I would have liked it better if it uses Type-C for a reversible charging experience as well as faster file transfers. But anyway, this is a budget smartphone. You can't really compare that much because it is an affordable one. Next is this. It has these earphones. So it has an earphones with microphone and a 3.5mm jack. At first, I thought that that's everything inside the box. I forgot to check if it has a pre-installed screen protector, and it has. And that will protect your phone from unwanted damages, which is very, very nice to know. And that's it. That's everything inside the box of the TECNO SPARK 7 Pro. So far, I like everything that I am seeing, and that's a good sign. Checking its back again, you can see that it has this glass-like material on the camera hump. And for me, it is stylish looking, and you will also see the fingerprint scanner here in the middle portion of its back panel. One more thing that makes its build a little bit more special is the inclusion of a red rubber gasket found on the SIM card tray slot. And that means that this has some sort of water resistance. Just don't drop it in water, but I think it can protect it from accidental water splashes and maybe even the rain. Design-wise, you can see that TECNO really tried its best in making this look better than a lot of budget smartphones. It has a 3D curve construction, making it really comfortable to hold. I like that it has a two-tone design. The upper portion is a little bit darker and the lower portion has that light streaks that looks really neat for me. The only thing that I didn't like here is the rear fingerprint scanner. It would have been better if they placed it on the side so that the back design would look cleaner. Another thing, as mentioned earlier, it has this glass-like type of material on the camera hump that is containing the Spark text and the AI text that looks neat for me. It also has a triple camera setup at the back and a quad LED flash. This is also a textured back cover design, making it not that slippery when you hold it, as well as it has some sort of protection against unwanted fingerprint smudges. It is not that prone to fingerprint smudges, only a little. In front, as you can see, it has a large display. This display is 6.6-inch big, and here on the upper left portion of the panel, it has a punch hole, and that punch hole contains the 8 megapixels camera of the device. The bezels are slim, especially on the top and on the sides. The shin bezel is a little bit thicker than what I wanted, but this is common on budget smartphones, and I think it will be very hard for you to find a smartphone at this price point with a slim bezel on the shin, unless maybe it is second-hand, right? On top, it is clean. Below, you will find that it has the speaker grill along with the microSD port, 3.5mm jack, and the microphone hole. So that's everything that you will see on the bottom part of this device. At left, like what we showed you earlier, it has a slot for the triple tray slot. And at right, you will see that it has the power key along with the volume up and down keys, also known as the volume rocker. To nitpick, it would have been better if the fingerprint scanner is not found on the back side of the device. Maybe they could have placed it on this side, maybe double it as the power key to make its back design look cleaner. But in general, if you won't compare this device to more expensive smartphones, the TECNO SPARK 7 Pro has one of the better builds and nicer designs found at this price point. In terms of picture quality, I think that this is a decent display. The colors are quite nice. It isn't super accurate, but it is fairly okay, at least for me. And it has this type of brightness that could be readable even for outdoor use. My only issue here is it is a little bit reflective, but that is understandable since this is a budget smartphone. In terms of sharpness, it is average for the price. The device is equipped with a large display with an HD plus resolution, and the HD plus resolution has a pixel density of around 266 ppi. Personally, it is okay for the price, but I would have liked it better if it has a 1080p resolution for a crisper multimedia experience. I am also the type of user that watches a lot of video clips on my smartphone, whether it is on YouTube, Netflix, iQIYI, and other streaming platforms on my pastime. That is the reason why I wanted it to have a crisper 1080p panel. But if you are the type of user who wants to enjoy the benefits of a high refresh rate even on a tight budget, maybe you are in for a treat on the TECNO SPARK 7 Pro. Why? It has a 90Hz refresh rate for smoother animations and transitions, and it could enhance your gaming experience if the game that you are playing on your smartphone supports high refresh rates. TECNO also knows that not all apps have support for high refresh rates, and it could consume more power. This is why the device has the auto switch refresh rate on the display settings. On the display settings, the device also has the eye care. The eye care tints your screen amber, and this makes it easier to look at your screen or read in dim light and may help you fall asleep more easily. Also, it has the dark theme mode with a dark background that will probably help in conserving battery on some displays and cause less fatigue to your eyes. For speakers, it has a single down-firing speaker at the bottom. It is fairly loud, but it isn't too loud. For quality, it isn't that great. Don't expect too much from it. Remember, this is a budget smartphone, not a high-end smartphone. But personally, if I want to listen to higher quality music, I'll be using my favorite set of in-ear earphones, as it has a slot for the 3.5mm jack. And that is nice to know, as a lot of smartphones today are starting to remove this headphone jack. Fortunately, most budget phones still have it. And if you have a wireless in-ear or earbuds, you can also use it to enjoy a better quality music instead of its speakers. By the way, TECNO is also boasting that it has this audio share feature, which will allow you to connect 2 to 3 Bluetooth devices all at the same time, and that is a pretty nice addition to this device. For calls, the TECNO SPARK 7 Pro did just okay. It isn't super impressive, but it is considered as decent at this price point. The other side of the call also heard my voice clearly, so this suggests that it has a decent type of microphone, which is good. So I tried to record my voice using this device, and the result that we got is better than some budget smartphones, and for me it is decent. Have a listen. Test 1 2 3, mic test 1 2 3, mic test 1 2 3. Hi, this is Peter of GizGuy.com. Mic test. For cameras, this device is one of the few with high-resolution cameras for a budget smartphone. The primary shooter is a 48-megapixel camera at f1.8 with PDAF focus, and it is paired with a 2-megapixel f2.4 depth sensor, and it has another 2-megapixel camera with f2.0 aperture for AI. It also has a quad LED flash at the back in case the subject you are shooting is really in a dark lighting condition. Moving to the camera app, we find that its interface is fairly easy to understand and use. On the left part of the display, you will see that it has a toggle to access the LED flash options. It also has an auto HDR mode. You get the 48-megapixel camera mode. This is for higher resolution photos. And you also have this option to choose the aspect ratio of your shot, whether it is 4:3, 1:1, or wide. I think the wide one is 16:9. And then it also has different filters that you can try depending on the situation or what you like. On the right side, you will find the AI camera, video, short video mode, and then beauty, portrait, and super night mode. There is no option for a manual camera setting, but that is understandable for a budget smartphone. But of course, it would have been so much better if it has the manual controls. When shooting, for me, the autofocus speed is decent. It is actually pretty fast for a budget smartphone, and the tap to focus function is also quite speedy. What I like here more is the shooting speed. The shooting speed is very fast. For daylight images, the SPARK 7 Pro performed nicely as expected. It produced images with crisp enough details and fairly rich colors. It also has up to 10 times digital zoom, but of course the quality won't be that great. We also think that its AI scene detection and optimization works quite fast. It knows if we are taking a photo of a pet, flower, and etc. We also like that it has eye autofocus to ensure that your portraits will remain crisp. For indoor shots, it is alright, the tone is a bit warm. There is no macro mode, but its 48-megapixel camera sensor can still take close-up shots with pretty good natural background blur. For low-light shots, thanks to the 4-in-1 pixel binning tech of its primary camera, results are decent with minimal grain. It also has a night mode that makes shots brighter. It's just too HDR-ish and unnatural for me. In dim situations, you can use its LED flash. For me, it is just a bit too bright for close-up shots. Fortunately, it has an option to adjust the exposure to avoid making your shots with flash too bright. For selfies, it is equipped with a single 8-megapixel shooter with dual LED flash. And unlike other selfie cameras, it has all of the modes found on its back cameras. It even has the AI-assisted eye autofocus technology to keep your selfies sharp most of the time. With the face mask on, exposure will be dimmer, but you will see that it can capture shots with plenty of details. It also has a bokeh effect with passable edge detection. In low light, it will fail most of the time. My suggestion, use its dual LED flash for better results. For videos, it records up to 2K at 30 FPS. That resolution is large for budget smartphones. But unlike the POVA 2, there is no EIS, so shots will be very shaky if you don't have a gimbal or a tripod to stabilize your shot. For selfies, it also records up to 2K resolution and the shake is lesser. It even has an option for the bokeh or face beauty for both the main and selfie camera. However, there is no slow motion videos this time, and I can't also find the time-lapse option in its camera app. In terms of performance, this device is pretty good for the price. It is equipped with the Helio G80 processor. It is an octa-core chip based on a 12nm manufacturing process, and it is paired with the Mali-G52 MC2 GPU at 950 MHz. The unit that we have is the 4GB of RAM with 128GB of storage variant, and for me that is quite large for a budget smartphone, especially now that it is priced at just 6,590 pesos coming from the original SRP of 6,990. At Antutu benchmark, it clocked a score of 208,121, and this is higher than a lot of budget smartphones with the older Helio P35 chip, and maybe those who are still using the older Snapdragon 400 series chipsets. And that is a good sign since it will allow you to open your apps faster, play your games a little bit better, and even multitask a little. Here are the rest of the benchmark scores from Geekbench, PCMark, and more. In terms of actual usage, I find it okay in opening Facebook, checking Instagram, watching Netflix videos, and even iQIYI videos. For multitasking, not including games, it can easily open up to around 5 apps at the same time. Let's say, for example, you have a photo editing app on the background and you also have your Facebook and other social media apps, for example, like TikTok in front. And it handles those tasks pretty well. There's very minimal lag, and actually I can't feel the lag on those types of small applications. But if you play games, it is a different story. When I tried to open Genshin Impact and Call of Duty Mobile at the same time while I have other open apps, the screen freezes like this. It isn't that responsive anymore. Maybe I have to restart the phone first. For storage, I really enjoy that it has 128GB, since other smartphones at this price point only have around 64 and some even have 32 gigs. This will allow me, and of course those who will buy this device, to enjoy more storage. Basically, you can install more apps, store more photos, and more. For gaming, in terms of actual gaming, the Spark 7 Pro runs the likes of Mobile Legends Bang Bang at mostly high settings effortlessly. And it even has the HFR mode that runs the game at 60 frames per second. For PUBG Mobile, we were able to run the game with HD graphic quality and high frame rate. Under this setting, the PUBG Mobile game is very much playable. There is very minimal lag, and that is quite nice to know for a budget smartphone like this one. And we also noticed that it has a pretty accurate touch response. On heavier games like, for example, Genshin Impact, it will struggle. It can run it at low settings but expect it to have frame drops and a bit of lag. If you are playing games like, for example, Pokemon Go that requires the gyroscope sensor, this might not be the device for you as it does not have that type of sensor here. Overall, we find playing games on this handset to be pretty respectable, especially for a budget device. Actually, it is pretty good. Thermals are also alright even after playing games for around an hour, and it gets warm but not hot, and that's pretty nice for a device priced this low. For connectivity, it has a decent signal strength at home. We are getting around 2 bars for Globe and around 3 bars at Smart. This is the common signal strength that I usually get on devices that are priced this affordable. We also have no issues with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. GPS also works in most areas where we needed it. Lastly, I like the fact that I can put 2 nano SIM cards at the same time, and it has a dedicated microSD card slot. Thanks to its large 5000 mAh battery, actual battery performance is quite good. It can last for an entire workday on a single charge, and you will still have around 30% battery left in the tank. For gaming with Wi-Fi, it can last for around 10 hours on a single charge. That's at around 50% brightness. For charging, it is only equipped with a 10 watts or 5 volts 2 amps charger, and don't expect it to charge your phone quickly. In our experience, we needed around 3 hours to fully charge the device from 0 to 100%. That is pretty okay, but I would have liked it better if it has fast charging, like for example 18 watts to fill its 5000 mAh battery faster. Also, like what we mentioned earlier, I would have liked it better if it has a USB Type-C port instead of an older micro USB port. For software, it runs with the latest Android 11 OS, and that is quite nice to know. And it is paired with the HiOS 7.5 skin by TECNO itself. Compared to older TECNO skins, this is noticeably smoother and better in general. I also like the fact that it has plenty of optimizations and settings, as well as other features that could make your overall phone experience better. It also supports gesture navigations aside from the usual Android keys. One minor thing, I do not like that it has ads by default. In particular, it has ads in the notifications, and sometimes it will pop up on your home screen. Fortunately, there is a way to disable some of those ads. Number 1, long press the home screen, tap on the desktop settings, tap other settings, then tap the toggle in front of hot searches to put it off. Now we will flash the summary of the pros and cons of this device. Our verdict. Clearly, the TECNO SPARK 7 Pro is one of the better performing smartphones at this price point. With a starting price tag of 6,590 pesos for the 4GB of RAM with 128GB version and 6,990 pesos for the 6GB of RAM with 64GB storage variant, you will be able to enjoy a device with a neat design, sturdy build, 90Hz refresh rate, speedy enough performance, and large battery capacity. The cameras are not bad as well. However, while I would have liked it better if it has a 1080p resolution, a USB-C port, an ultra-wide-angle camera, and a gyroscope sensor, I am also aware that you can't have it all most of the time at this price point. Overall, based on my experience, this can compete with a lot of devices in the 6,000 pesos to 7,500 pesos range. It is quite good. What do you guys think? Do you agree with us? Again, this is Peter of GizGuide.com. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and goodbye.